you think about any sport, any athlete, any particular skill set that we're talking about within that sport, and everything is pretty much debatable. I don't care what you come up with. You're going to be able to debate multiple guys in the conversation, best at this, whatever it may be. To think that you have a guy who has taken a skill that every single person that's played basketball, it's the first thing you learn how to do is take a ball and put it in a hoop. I don't care if you're 2 years old, 3 years old. Everybody starts out doing the same thing because that's the ultimate object of the game. And to think that you have a guy that not only is the greatest shooter of all time, that almost seems silly to say it because he is so far ahead of whoever you want to put second. It's mind-blowing that you can separate yourself from everybody else who's ever done it to the extent that he has. And to think at 33 years old, you had seen everything that could mesmerize you about this guy. And he still continues to blow our mind. In fact, he's in the stretch that's the greatest offensive stretch of his career. So imagine taking someone who's an all-time great, and now you can freeze a moment in time and say, this was when he was at his best. We're seeing it right now. And that's coming from a guy who's a two-time MVP, a unanimous MVP, a three-time champion, and yet here we are in the midst of the greatest run that he has had at 33 years old. That's what I'm thinking about when I watch it. I never thought I was going to get Steph Curry to blow my mind again because he's done it so many times. But you think, okay, I've seen the best of Steph, and yet here he is doing it again and giving us an all-time great run. And it's, man, is it fun to watch. And he's reminding us all, guys, that this was the most entertaining player in the NBA before KD went to Golden State. And they kind of cannibalized that a little bit, each of them, to win. But now he's thrust right back into that again because he doesn't have KD. He doesn't have Klay Thompson. It's Steph's show, and this is exactly what it looked like before KD arrived when he was the most entertaining player in the league.
Legs, if Steph is clear-cut the best shooter by far, who's two and how close?
I'll tell you what, for me, I think the next two guys I would put on the list are Klay Thompson and Ray Allen. And I think now you've got a pretty serious debate about which guy. Ray Allen probably got it with more versatility in the ways that he could shoot the ball deep from the three. I thought there was probably a 6-8 year stretch when Ray Allen was in the NBA. Every time I was asked who's the best shooter in the league, I would say Ray Allen. He was just the guy to me. And then Klay came along. Obviously, Steph went to a different stratosphere, but Klay also came along, and now you go, man, maybe it's Klay Thompson because he gets it off so quick. He holds it so high. He is actually, over the course of his career, he's been more combustible, is the word I like to use, than even Steph, because when Klay goes off, it's historic stuff. You know, when you're talking about scoring 60 points on 12 dribbles, you know, things like that. Nobody's ever done that in the history of the league. So I think now you've got a serious conversation between who may be second. Those would be my two guys. But again, I think there's a significant gap between both of those guys and Steph Curry because it's also not just about shooting the three. Steph is ambidextrous on his finishes. He's got an array of floaters, runners. He can do it either hand, off the dribble, off the catch from distances that have never been seen before. So for me, it's Steph, you know, head and shoulders, and then now the debate begins.
Okay, Tim, educate me real quick, because for me, I want you to put this in perspective. 72 threes made in 10 games by Steph. See, me, I'm like, oh, man, this is what he does. I expect for him to make 200 because it's Steph Curry. He can do it blindfolded. Is that just help me understand how insane that truly is being a three-point shooter yourself?
Well, think about this. So he's out there, and I mentioned the guys that he doesn't have with him right now. And he also doesn't have another starter, James Wiseman, a rookie who's out for the year. So he's out there. Everybody in the building knows what's about to happen. Every defense, obviously, is completely geared toward trying to take this away from him. And yet he's still doing it, and he's doing it at unprecedented levels. How is it possible? Well, it's possible mainly because two things. One, he's got the most underrated handle probably in the history of the league. So his ability to play in these tight windows, even when he's guarded, and escape and elude and create separation because of that handle, I just think it's the most underrated aspect of his game. I think he's got a top 5 handle of all time, combined with this shooting ability we're talking about. The second thing is where he's doing it from. the distances with which he is shooting, it makes it almost impossible to ask bigs in particular, when their man is setting a screen for Steph at 35 feet out, what big is comfortable doing that over and over and over again? And in fact, last night, that's where they got separation in the game. They hit Joel Embiid with 3 or 4 of those in the fourth quarter. And you're asking a big guy who's your primary option offensively in the post to now sprint back, try to get to the lane to protect in transition. And now you've got to sprint back out to the perimeter because your center that you're guarding is setting a pick at 35 feet and you're supposed to be up there showing to take that shot away. And by the way, even if you pull that off correctly, Steph's handle is so good, he's going to split the double team and get past you anyway. And now he's playing 4-on-3. So to me, what I'm watching right now is you're talking about the greatest who's ever done it and doing it the best he's ever done it. So think about any great artist or whatever it may be. You want to sit down and you're watching them create their finest piece of artwork, and you're able to pull up a chair and watch them do it. That's what I feel like right now when I'm watching Steph Curry. And I think, listen, one more point I want to make about this. The reason you're seeing this now at 33, he had so much time off the last year and a half, 2 years because of injuries. His legs are revitalized. It's obvious to me he is feeling an energy right now and a freshness that most guys at 33 don't get to experience. And that is why he's back out there with a manic pace, the way he's running around and the way he's moving offensively. And teams are having an impossible task right now to try to contain him because he feels like he's 25 years old again because he missed a significant amount of time over the last couple of years.
That's a great point. ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler is here. The irony not lost that this guy supposedly may not have been able to reach his potential because of ankle problems at the beginning of his career. And now it's the legs that Leg says has powered him to where he is.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.